What does it look like to love a community rather? What does it look like to love a community rather than to leave it?
She saved my life.
The people here, they care.
Someone cared enough to help them get better.
My hope for Milwaukee is that we come together as one.
Milwaukee, I love you.
Welcome to Positively Milwaukee. We are back on the road this week, visiting the Milwaukee Public Museum. We're in the Sense of Wonder exhibit, an old school tribute to how museums looked not too long ago. And there's a lot to learn about Milwaukee and the world. Andre Ellis of Milwaukee is educating young people through nature. And I went to Milwaukee's north side to learn how he's cultivating a better future. You could almost say this garden has a secret power. And I love the fact no pesticides.
No pesticide.
A field that grows dreams.
The labyrinth is a part of our healing center.
A plot that brings people together. A place of promise.
I was born to teach little black boys that they can.
Andre Ellis created this space as a way to connect with Milwaukee's youth. Now what is this plant?
Squash. As long as they have their hands in the soil, they can keep them off the trigger of a gun.
He devotes his life to mentoring young people.
And you ask the question, how many of you don't know your dad? And 90 of them raised their hand. And you say, I'm not the birth dad, I'm the earth dad.
Ellis has mentored 24-year-old Anthony LaPointe since Anthony was 14. Okay, so you've taken some of the food home?
Squash, I believe it was some squash, some cucumber, and tomato for sure.
Today, LaPointe is a student at UW-Whitewater. He grew up in a home with no father.
Over here we got some cucumbers.
And considers Andre Ellis his dad.
Mr. Andre has always been like more so of a safe haven.
Why do you call him Pops?
I call Mr. Andre Pops because it sounds better than Dad. It's like a nickname that comes with status, I think, for me and for the other boys that call him that, just to show him respect, you know, and try to give him his flowers every time I speak to him. And it's more so a thank you, you know, not just a thank you from me, but from the other boys who I know benefited from him too.
LaPointe says he pretty much raised himself, but seeing other college classmates triggered feelings of his childhood neglect.
I would like be crying, just like randomly.
But Andre Ellis, or Pops, has always been there for Anthony and thousands of other young men and women.
Or you can go to Mr. Andre and you could tell him exactly what you're going through. He might even guess it.
His garden is fertile ground to keep youth away from the streets. There's a lot of pain in our community.
I get some of the most hardcore dudes that have some high-powered rifles and guns and instruments that come and see me before they go and make a mistake.
It's like bringing a family together.
We're all family.
Ellis believes we can all help struggling youth survive and thrive. Kids that are forgotten or not nurtured enough, what can we all do to make their lives easier, like what you do, Andre?
Stop being so judgmental. Stop excluding people because of what you don't like about them.
And Ellis plants powerful messages outside this garden. He sponsors this annual black tie event to help young men feel a pride they may have never known.
You give me 3 to 6 months in the garden with them. We get busy in here. They come here diligently every day. When I bring them back to your courtroom, they're going to have a job. They're going to have their apartment. They're going to have their driver's license. They're going to be working on their credit score. Now it's time for the cucumbers to grow.
Groups from all over seek Andre's wisdom. Here, he's hosting medical students from the University of Wisconsin.
Thank you for the leadership of recognizing how important it is for you to find out what the people in impoverished neighborhoods think.
And Andre Ellis tells these future doctors his favorite thing to plant in the garden: love.
Just because you lack don't mean you have to lose. So my approach is teaching the people that live on the bottom how to fly.
Andre is a major force in so many lives. He's even planning to put up a healing center in the middle of a labyrinth in the garden. That way people will be able to go there when they feel depressed. There'll be special plants and flowers like lavender, and they will offer a sense of peace. He was an impressive race car driver, but when it was time to retire, a South Milwaukee man turned to fashion design. Lance Allen talked to him about how he started a business in his basement and moved all the way up to a factory of his own.
In this building in South Milwaukee, racing merchandise like for Birchwood's Aaron Tielitz is born. It's styled aesthetic.
At the start, it was just knowing the industry, right? And then as we've grown and as we've developed, it started recognizing new things.
Our bread and butter is a male t-shirt. However, more and more people are bringing their families to events, so we know that, and I'm a woman, I want to wear a t-shirt too, so I want to make sure that I get the right women's products out there.
And with races on weekends, the born on date matters.
Literally the date on the shirt is Friday, and those need to be in Nashville tomorrow. How do you deal with all that stuff?
I have no choice.
Is it going to make it by Friday? If not, okay, then I got to scrap it. So the stuff that is this weekend is very event specific.
It used to be fans, mostly males, wore stuff and merch to the track. Now it's females and kids all week, and it's why they've expanded to a new facility in South Milwaukee.
There are literally shirts over there behind your shoulder that are going to be on a truck and headed for sale tomorrow. So what's the challenge behind trying to do all this?
With us right now, it's just capacity. Like we have so much business and so much demand that we're just trying to keep up. So part of the new building and the expansion here is to get new equipment to help bridge that gap.
And if I don't have something, that's a great idea for next year. Like someone wants something specific, I'm like, oh, well, I don't have that now, but let me look into that. That'd be great. Or it's a lot of stuff that I want to wear.
And what do they consider success?
When I walk to wherever I need to go and I am out and about with the fans, and I will count the number of people wearing shirts that are either current or even from like the first years we started.
Pretty cool. Now, if you're interested in buying some of the styled aesthetics race t-shirts, we do have a link on our website, tmj4.com. Don't go away. After the break, we're going to tell you about an exciting new way to enjoy public art. Plus, we're going to show you a fabulous exhibit right here at the Milwaukee Public Museum. You don't want to miss this. And welcome back to the Milwaukee Public Museum. We are here in what is called the Narwhal exhibit. Narwhal, revealing the Arctic legend. And I am here with Aaron Atencio, Dr. Aaron Atencio, who, you're a very busy man. Now tell everybody what your title is, Aaron.
Well, I'm the research curator of cultural sciences here at NPM, and what that entails is I basically get to look at artifacts, interpret what they mean, what they meant for the cultural aspect, what they mean for the biological aspects sometimes. So we like to intertwine nature and culture together.
Well, how exciting.
Yeah.
Now being here at the museum, now kids like to see the big animals, and there's the narwhal, where we are at. Now I bet there's some people out there who've never heard of a narwhal.
Right.
For those who don't know what it is, can you tell us what is it, Aaron?
Sure, yeah. A narwhal is a medium-sized toothed whale. It ranges from about 8 to 16 feet. Those are the males. Weight can range from anywhere between up to 3,500 pounds. And that, to give you a rough size estimate, that's about the size of a beluga whale, which they're very closely related to, or a black rhinoceros.
Fascinating when you think about where they live, because they're living in the Arctic in a place that is dark half of the year, and it's hard to get to. Can you tell me how difficult is it to study narwhals?
So they don't live in captivity either, so that makes it very difficult to study them. A way that I like to position this question is a wildlife photojournalist named Paul Nicklin. It took him 10 years to get a single photo of a narwhal of researching, and he actually got it from a plane. So that gives you kind of a scope of how difficult the animals are to study. And it also illuminates how little we know about them. Accessing them in their environment is really the the key way to do it. And that's another cool thing about this exhibit, is it intertwines traditional knowledge, so indigenous peoples from the area, with modern scientific research.
It's fascinating, you know, Doctor. I'm going to call you Dr. Atencio because you earned a PhD. I can't help it. But you know, one thing, Dr. Atencio, when I think of animals and studying animals, a lot we can learn from our own makeup and in science, you know, as human beings. What are some of the things that you think we can glean from studying these animals?
For me, as a cultural scientist, it's always that interconnection between the source communities and then us as scientists going into the source communities and what we can take away from traditional knowledge. So Inuit peoples have lived in this area for much longer than we've been accessing the area and taking information from that area. So what this helps with is that interplay between traditional knowledge, which is a huge push for modern day scientific research, and how to work collaboratively. And I think that, for me, that's probably the most important aspect.
Yeah, very interesting. And one of the things, of course, is the tusk. Everybody wants to know about that. Now, they are considered valuable back in the day. Can you talk about the history of the tooth or the tusk?
Yes, so in the 16th century, Queen Elizabeth purchased a carved tusk that was valued at 10,000 pounds at that time. Roughly, she could have bought a castle at that time with that. So that gives you some idea of how valuable they are. They've been used in medicine, so to cure leprosy. Now, this isn't proven. This was back in that age of to cure leprosy, certain things like headaches and things like that, and they would grind that up into a powder.
That is just fascinating. You know, we could talk about this all day, and I'm so glad you have this exhibit here and you're able to give us some information. And now there's a lecture coming up, Dr. Atencio, that people, if they want to know more, they can attend.
Yes, so actually one of the leading researchers for the narwhal exhibit, William Fitzhugh, he's going to be coming here in September, the 22nd, for a Science on Tap. And we urge everyone to come in and take part in that and learn more about narwhal and Arctic research.
Okay, well, it's very good. It's great to have you on Positively Milwaukee. Dr. Aaron Atencio, thank you so much for being my guest this morning.
I appreciate it.
Coming up after the break, he's no pirate, but we're going to introduce you to a man who is digging for buried treasure. But first, you've got to meet our Positively Milwaukee Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Johanna at Haws, and I'm joined by our volunteer coordinator, Devin, today, so that we can showcase two of our pups who are Positively Milwaukee. These two are 13-year-old Blackie and Brownie. They were surrendered to us, unfortunately, because their owner passed away, and the family was no longer able to keep them. So this is a dynamic duo. They're what we call a bonded pair, which means they go home together. And you pay one adoption fee for both of these lovely pups. These two 13-year-old sisters get along with other dogs who have a similar temperament, calm and even. They love children, and they are, we're told, teddy bears. If you are interested in making an impact on our community by helping here at Haws, we are always looking for volunteers. We have so many different opportunities, from dog walking, cat cuddling, small animal care, to office work and helping with our large events. So if you're interested in anything like that and you'd like to make an impact by helping Haws, please go to hawspets.org and find out more underneath the volunteer tab. So if you're interested in finding out more about Blackie and Brownie or any of the other animals we have who are available for adoption at Haws, please go to hawspets.org or give us a call at 262-542-8851 to find out who we have here that's Positively Milwaukee.
And welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. We are visiting the Rocky Mountains, or at least a very cool exhibit of them at the Milwaukee Public Museum. Our community is full of show-stopping sites like this, and neighbors on Villard Avenue are trying to add even more. A local artist has added some serious pizzazz to the street. Our Ryan Jenkins has more on this effort to make Villard vibrant.
Like some of these empty buildings, some businesses in them, and more art. Not just mine, other people's art. It just looked like a thriving neighborhood. The community would really appreciate it.
Creating that vibrant, bustling space here between Teutonia and Sherman is Angelique Sharp's biggest goal. She's the director of the Villard Avenue Business Improvement District and asked Cry to display his art after seeing it in passing.
There was years of disinvestment that happened, but we're thriving again, and it's really a great place, just a walkable corridor, and I'm excited to, do my part to revitalize it.
Cry and Angelique got a little help in the form of a grant from AARP Wisconsin. Amber Miller says that $1,000 check can have a big impact.
What are some innovative, out-of-the-box ideas that can activate a neighborhood to start bringing people together? And we thought artwork, of course, is probably one of the best ways to get people together in the neighborhood.
Angelique says plenty of other area businesses have chipped in too.
The whole point of that is for it to be collaborative. So we want everybody to have a hand in supporting it.
Hopefully, plenty of people come down to see the artwork, and Cry hopes it sparks something for others.
I would just like to inspire the me's of the world, specifically the children who are born artists who see life differently and want to put their beauty out in the world and probably just figure out, hey, I can do this because I saw that.
And if you'd like to see more of Cry's work, his paintings will be hung along Villard indefinitely. And he's also a resident artist at Coffee Makes You Black. You may think of pirates when you think of hunting for buried treasure, but a man in Bayview has much more altruistic intentions. James Grow talked to the Bruce of Bayview about his many fabulous finds.
Now this is giving me a good coin signal. We have a quarter.
That's Bruce, the Bruce Retkowski from Bayview.
I'm a detectorist, a metal detectorist.
He's a modern-day treasure hunter using his metal detector to find buried goods in southeast Wisconsin. And he's becoming popular.
My wife says, you spend too much time doing this.
Do you spend too much time doing this?
Not in my book.
Bruce has been a metal detectorist for about 7 years. Back in the spring, he took his hobby public by posting on Facebook offering his services to explore people's yards for free.
I probably get 2 or 3 a week now. Yeah, there could be something here. It's a plate from a door latch.
Most of the time, he just finds scrap metal and coins. But he has found old toys, lighters, rings, and even 2 iPhones at a beach. He returned those to the owners.
For me, it's the history. I don't find stuff and sell it. I mean, I found some gold things, some silver items, but the fun for me is researching it after I find it.
He'll let the homeowners keep whatever he finds, but if they don't want it, he keeps it.
It's another modern quarter. It funds the trip down to Florida so I can do metal detecting in the wintertime.
He also explores parks and other public areas.
It's the adventure. Oh, look at that. It's a dog license.
Email him at thebruce1959@gmail.com if you want him to explore your yard. He hasn't found that chest of buried treasure yet, but the search for the big discovery continues.
You never know what you're going to find.
In Milwaukee, James Grow, TMJ4 News.
Now that's pretty cool. Now if you didn't quite catch that email address and you want Bruce to come out and metal detect your yard, we have his information for you on our website. Just visit tmj4.com. It's almost time for one of the best award shows on TV. A truly great reason to smile this morning, the Positively Milwaukee Awards. We're spotlighting the people who make Milwaukee an amazing place to live. Sister McHannon Brown was our Inspiring Senior last year, as well as our Inspiration of the Year. She runs a homeless shelter that does so much more than provide clean, dry places for people to sleep. Many people even compare Sister Brown to Mother Teresa.
It's been times that I've been here and I just didn't really want to be here, but I came anyway, and I'm glad that I came because someone uplifted my spirit, and it was Sister. God has been so good to me, and I thank God for putting her in my path.
If there is someone in your life working hard to make their community better, we want to hear from you. We have 6 categories to choose from, including Inspiring Senior, Teacher of the Year, and Military Service. Just go to tmj4.com/awards to nominate somebody you think deserves a little extra recognition. I'll be back with my quote of the week. If it weren't for the rocks in its bed, the stream would have no song. Our quote this week comes from Carole Perkins, the singer and songwriter famous for the song Blue Suede Shoes. Critics say Perkins personified the rockabilly sound. His songs were later recorded by Elvis, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, and many more. Now, Perkins did not always have success. He was born to poor sharecroppers and often had to miss school to help them with farm work. But at nights, he'd listen to Grand Ole Opry on the radio, which helped inspire his love of music. He ended up signing with the record label at just 14 years old. So as you go through life, remember Carole Perkins' story. Remember that stones, just like these in the geology department, are polished by friction, pressure, and time. Your success is coming. Just be patient and tough. And as always, stay positively Milwaukee.